All right. I was in bed last night and I had the TV on and I just try and go to sleep with some background noise. So I was flipping around and it was the Roku channel and they have the Rockford Files on there, the whole run of it. So I clicked on one of those episodes. Anybody remembers my age anyway will remember the Rockford Files. It was from, I don't know, mid 70s, I think, and it probably ran until about 81. Something like that. But it was really popular back in the day. Anyway, so I started watching it and I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. And because it had the cool intro, cool car, he drove that gold Camaro. Pardon me. And then that classic intro, the music, and that they began every episode with the answering machine, which must have been crazy expensive in the 70s, an actual answering machine. Anyway, so, but the problem was this episode was so dumb. It was like, were all the shows in the 70s that bad and that dumb? And I kind of think the answer is yeah. Not that every decade doesn't have just terrible TV. You can say that about any decade, and that's fine. But I was just like, what in the heck's going on with this episode? It was his girlfriend or one of his women friends. She worked in LAX. She was the blonde girl from Cagney and Lacey. And anyway, so none of this stuff really made any sense. The real question is, why is anybody in the show doing what they're doing? There's no real answer to all that. Anyway, she goes up to this guy, mistaken identity. She talks to him. He doesn't know who she is. And then the next thing you know, he's following her in the parking lot. Then he scares her and she drops her bag and the guy took her bag. And then Rockford comes in and, he's trying to be all manly. But, none of this stuff made any sense because, they at one point, okay, and then the girl goes home and then the guy, whoever the attacker was, it was the guy in the airport, he finds her because he's got her ID and he goes to her apartment and scares her, and then they file a report, and Rockford is always calling his cop buddy. It's like he doesn't do anything. He just calls his cop friend, and that's kind of the thing of the show. And it's just like, well, he's a private investigator that, by the way, lives in a trailer next to the beach, which is fine, but he lives in a parking lot. It's not a beach house. He lives in a parking lot where people go to park when they want to go to the beach. And it's like, what? That never made sense to me. I remember that as a kid, and that didn't make sense to me then. It's like, why is this dude living in a parking lot? And he's got like full electric and plumbing and a telephone in the trailer, in the camper. And I was like, how did, and everything from the outside is just sitting there by itself in the parking lot. So that doesn't make sense. Anyway, so I'm watching this whole episode and it's really, really bad. It's just, nothing makes any sense. They wanted a safe house. Why the girl didn't stay with Rockford at his place, I don't know. Anyway, but they wanted a safe house for her, that he was going to stay there with her. And his friend Angel, the one with the big afro, he gets a safe house for him. And he's kind of a shady guy, but he wanted $100 a night for this safe house. And it was just like, why don't you just go to some random hotel that nobody will find you? And it's just like, why are you paying $100 for a safe house when you could pay, it was the 70s, you could pay $20 for a decent hotel room. But none of it made sense. And then by the end, the guy who was in the airport in the first place gets shot by another guy for some reason that had nothing to do with anything. And then, of course, it was the 70s TV series. So I'm thinking, let me just get to the end and they will wrap it up, because that's what you did in the 70s. You get to the end of the episode, then you wrap it up. And then also Rockford's dad is always in the episodes screwing things up and messing things up for him. It's just like, why is he here? Why? He's always right there with him. Anyway, but then, so they get to it and they wrapped it up. None of it made any sense at all. The dude was, he owned a coin store in Los Angeles, and he was flying in and out making coin deals for like rare coins and stuff. And he came back to the airport, and that's when the whole episode started. But none of it made any sense. They explained it all at the end. He was some kind of an assassin, but some other assassin attacked him and killed him for no real reason. None of it made any sense. Oh my God. So, yeah, that's 70s TV, not a sitcom, but TV show for you. It made no sense. It was just terrible. But anyway, that was the Rockford Files. And then I got through that episode, and I started watching the beginning of the next episode. Even worse. It was so dumb. It involved a psychic. And then I'll just for another second, he talks to the psychic. He gets a bad vibe from the guy. Then he goes back into his trailer, and he calls his cop buddy. This is like 5:30 in the morning. He calls his cop buddy, because that's all he does in the shows, is call his cop friend to handle everything. But then while he's calling his cop buddy, the door knocks, and his dad walks in, by the way, a few minutes before, just because. And he knocks on the door. It's the cop buddy with the psychic. The psychic called the cop buddy in the 30 seconds it took for him to walk from one place back to his trailer. And the cop buddy's there. Well, why is the cop buddy there? He didn't even know him. And all of a sudden he just shows up. Oh, it was terrible. Terrible, terrible. Anyway, yeah, it was just awful.